Well, hey you, my name is Jacqueline. I'm a corporate flight attendant and welcome to my YouTube channel, Jacqueline Travels. Today, my intention was to make this a 2-minute tidbit video, but with everything related to being a flight attendant, whether it's a corporate flight attendant like I am or a commercial flight attendant like I used to be, there's not really a golden set of rules. Things are situational and I'm going to do my best to explain everything to you in a short amount of time. I know we're all busy. I don't want to keep you guys here all day. I do, however, want to ask that you please subscribe to my channel before we get into the video. This way you don't miss out on any future flight attendant videos. All right, about 2 weeks ago on Instagram, I did a poll and I asked the corporate cabin attendants out there, do you do the safety brief on your private jet or do the pilots do the safety brief on the private jet? And I took a screenshot of the results. I'll post them for you because that's probably really blurry, but 51% of you said the pilots do the safety brief on the private jet. So to give you the vague answer first, the reason behind this is because corporate cabin attendants are different from flight attendants. The training is extremely different. Flight attendant training focuses more on the safety side, not really the service side, whereas corporate cabin attendants focus on the service side, and there's a little bit of safety thrown in. We did practice evacuating aircrafts, putting out fires, had to deal with decompression and scary situations on a private jet like that when I went through corporate cabin attendant training. But I will say, when I was a commercial flight attendant and I went through the FAA mandated flight attendant training, safety was the most important. And again, I know there's probably a corporate cabin attendant out there watching. I'm not saying what we do isn't safety related. I'm not saying the training that we got was not safety related. It most certainly was. However, safety situations on private jets are much different than safety situations on commercial airplanes. When you board that commercial airplane and you buckle up and the plane is taxiing out, you hear a flight attendant come over the PA system and they direct your attention into the aisle to the flight attendant standing in the aisle, holding up that safety information card, getting ready to tell you all things safety related. When you get onto a private jet, a corporate cabin attendant is hanging up jackets, preparing pre-departure snacks or meals, getting you a cocktail, anything that you might request. So the pilot will hand a passenger the safety information card on the private jet, and then they will do the safety demo. If there's ever an emergency situation, pilots also will help the corporate cabin attendants evacuate the airplane. They are the lead person in charge in an emergency. So here's where things get a little mixed up. If you've watched my videos before, you know that there are different sectors of private aviation. So there are Part 91 private jets, private flight attendants or corporate cabin attendants, and private pilots. And Part 91 means that there is a specific owner to the airplane or a company owns the airplane. So generally the clientele is the same. That plane's not going out for charter. It's not up for rent. It flies the same people around, generally an owner. So when passengers board Part 91, they are very familiar with the airplane. And the only time that you are actually required to give a passenger a safety brief on a Part 91 private jet is if it's their first time on board. My position as a corporate flight attendant is a Part 91 corporate flight attendant. So I see the same people pretty regularly. Instead of doing a safety brief for my passengers when they board the private jet, I'm offering to make drinks, I'm offering pre-departure snacks, I'm hanging up jackets and things like that. Again, if the owners of the private jet ever bring a guest on board, then before we start taxiing, I sit that guest down, I hand them the safety information card, and I do the safety demo brief. And on Instagram, the general consensus pretty much was flight attendants on Part 91 aircrafts do the safety briefs. All right, then there is the Part 135 sector of private aviation. So there's the corporate cabin attendants on Part 135, corporate pilots, and the plane that's basically up for lease. People can rent it, people charter it, and they don't own the plane. They are borrowing the plane. It is something that is provided to them as a service. And therefore, even if they've been on a private jet before, they're probably not familiar with the specific jet that they are flying on today. So in that situation, all the guests get a safety brief. And on Instagram, the common theme was that the pilots would do the safety brief on the Part 135 charter flights. Now, I have contracted, I've worked Part 135 trips before, and before our guests even arrive, the pilots and the flight attendants meet and we discuss how we want to operate the flight. So at that point, we would determine if the pilot is going to give the safety demo or if the flight attendant would give the safety demo. So as I said, it's very situational. Every day is different. Every aircraft is different. Every company runs their operation a different way. I decided to make this video because last week I published a video saying that Johnny potentially had a chance to come onto the private jet with me. And I talked about my days as a commercial flight attendant when I would take him on my layovers and he would watch me in the aisles of the airplane doing the safety demo, and how I was always like embarrassed about messing up in front of him, even though the safety demo is drilled into our heads. I haven't been a commercial flight attendant in over 2 years, and I can still give you my company's exact safety demo line for line. So after I published that video, you guys were curious how the safety briefings work on a private jet. And I always appreciate your participation. I thank you guys so much for watching my videos. It's always the most fun to have interactions with you guys. Earlier on in this video, I mentioned the differences between a flight attendant and a corporate cabin attendant. I actually made an entire video on this. I will link it up above. I always forget what side it goes on, but I'll link it up here for you now. And if you don't find it in that quick amount of time, I'll also link it down below for you. This way I can give you a more clear explanation of the differences between a flight attendant and a corporate cabin attendant. I do also want to say again, corporate cabin attendants are a very, very important part of safety on a private jet. A lot of times flight attendants aren't thought of as safety professionals, and I'll say the same for cabin attendants also. Cabin attendants get the same training. We know where safety equipment is located on the private jet. We are trained very well on how to handle safety situations when you're 45,000 feet flying through the sky. Just because a flight attendant is trained different from a corporate cabin attendant doesn't take away from the fact that we are safety professionals. Just because a pilot might give the safety demonstration to the passengers on the private jet, again, doesn't mean the corporate cabin attendant is not a safety professional. It's just different in the corporate aviation world than it is in the commercial aviation world, and that's okay. So if you guys have questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns for me, post them down below. Again, this video came to be because you guys asked me the question, and I appreciate that. Also, please leave me a thumbs up for this video. As I mentioned earlier, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future flight attendant videos. If you guys are looking for me on social media, at Jack Travels, that is JAC Travels, that's my Twitter handle. My Instagram is Jacqueline Travels, just like it is here on YouTube. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for participating. Everyone stay safe out there. Bye.